So we almost missed the train. Go for it. Our goal is to see as much of Salt Lake City in a day using public transit.
Yeah, we have a nice itinerary, which we will pop up on the screen or describe as we go for those who are listening.
And we almost missed the first link of it and sat there for almost an hour waiting for the next one. But
we got our workout in. We've already walked a good mile plus, and then ran through the ice and snow to get to the train.
Yep.
What did Hoffman say? It's like,
oh my God, I'm in Europe right now.
Started off with the Frontrunner train, which was really nice.
Really nice. Faster than on the highway. Like we could actually watch cars that we were passing on the highway to get here.
Yeah.
The train's super smooth, very clean.
And it's like a real commuter rail, basically. It goes all the way from Provo to Ogden through Salt Lake City. And we're currently at the Salt Lake City Central Station, which is a little on the side of town more than I thought, a little less density around here than I thought, but it does have a really good connection to the Trax, which is their light rail system.
Not quite as central as we thought, but it does service Amtrak, the Frontrunner, and the Trax system, and the buses.
All in one spot.
Not bad.
Yeah. But,
just very cold. We walked from Central Station up this little road and happened upon the Rio Grande station, which was the historic train station for Salt Lake City. So a little bonus destination on the tour.
We continued walking towards downtown and made a pit stop for breakfast at a coffee shop called the Rose Establishment. Definitely recommended.
So we just had some breakfast. We're gonna hop on the Trax again, one of the light rails, and
got our day pass.
Got our day pass for it. Yep. We're gonna take that to Washington Square downtown.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to walk to a couple other spots from there as well. So we'll see how it goes.
West South Temple. Transfer to Green Line trains.
That's really cool.
While riding along the tracks, we noticed another historic rail landmark, the Union Pacific Depot, which opened in 1909 and was used until 1986. The train tracks have been relocated and the space is now the center of a development known as the Gateway.
We just took the Trax Blue Line from our breakfast spot over to Washington Square. Nice little park. I'm not sure what is in the middle here yet. We'll figure that out, but
it's the Salt Lake City and County building.
Nice park, kind of an interesting part of town. It's like downtown, but it's also like car dealership and weird. It's like downtown, but not. I don't know. We'll see. There's definitely some cute spots that we went by on the train, though, for sure, that we'll check out as well. And nice views of the mountains, too.
Welcome back, everybody, to our 10th episode of Transit Tangents. I think that's a milestone on its own.
Absolutely, yeah. Very excited to be here for episode 10. Thanks for all the support so far from everybody. We're going to be jumping right back into this episode from Salt Lake City in just a second, but we did want to come in and kind of overview what the day is going to look like. On this trip, we were trying to see as much of Salt Lake City in a day as we could using only public transit. We're going to try to point out as much as we can along the way. We already pointed out a little bit at the central station there. Wasn't a very dense part of town. There was a lot of undeveloped or like kind of abandoned land, industrial land. Room for potential for sure, though. And we also kind of saw, near the City Hall area that's basically downtown, some weird land use as far as like car dealerships.
Yeah. when I think of your City Hall, I think of like office buildings around it or cafes or something city oriented, not like a Ford dealership across the street. So that was a little odd.
Yeah, yep. But again, it also like leaves room for development in the future.
Absolutely.
There's not going to be like a huge uproar about tearing down a car delership to build more housing or something like that in the future. Well, maybe there would be. I don't know.
Very historic car dealership.
Yeah, it'll get like legacy status, historic status. A couple other things that jumped out to us right away were really wide streets for the most part, which
very, very wide.
It makes it good for being able to have light rail like they do everywhere. Makes the experience as a pedestrian definitely less ideal.
It really makes the city feel a lot less walkable when half of your distance is just crossing the street, basically. And the intersections are so large that you don't necessarily feel like you're going to have enough time to get all the way across.
Right.
It doesn't feel pedestrian friendly whatsoever. And with the streets being so wide, cars are just like flying back and forth. So
for sure. There's a lot more to this, though. And rather than us explaining it from here, let's jump right back in and continue our day seeing Salt Lake City in a day via public transit.
We are waiting on the red line. We're gonna go to Trolley Square and learn all about the streetcars here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City. And we're meeting up with my friend Tyler, who is a Salt Lake City resident, and we'll find out what he thinks about the train.
Yes. At this very pleasant stop, surrounded by lots of loud
What?
cars. So the sign just said 1 minute a second ago, went to 15 minutes, and there is no train in sight. So
But the Trax app now says 4 minutes.
we'll see. I don't know.
This is something we noticed throughout the trip. The arrival times on digital boards at the stations followed the schedule and were not real-time arrivals. For 2024, that feels super low-tech and not very useful. Our train did come 4 minutes later, which was exactly the time that Chris had seen on the transit app. Eventually, though, we did get off the train a few short minutes later at Trolley Station.
I have another one with an interesting density around the stations, like strip mall with a bunch of parking, Jimmy John's. At least it's not a drive-through. Drive-through Taco Bell. There's at least an apartment building over here, not just strip malls and fast food.
After we got off the Trax stop, we walked a block or two towards Trolley Square, which used to be the main trolley depot in Salt Lake City. Today, it's home to a mall as well as a Trolley Square History Museum.
In 1872, Salt Lake City introduced its first horse-drawn streetcar system, providing a convenient mode of transportation for residents. As the city expanded, the need for an efficient and modernized transportation system became apparent. In 1889, Salt Lake City embraced electric streetcars, transitioning from horse-drawn to electrified tracks. The electric trolley system rapidly expanded, connecting various neighborhoods and suburbs, contributing to the growth and accessibility of the city. During the early to mid-20th century, the trolley network reached its peak, with extensive routes covering a significant portion of Salt Lake City. However, like many other cities across the United States, Salt Lake City experienced a decline in trolley ridership with the rise of automobiles and were replaced with buses. In the mid-20th century, the city made the decision to phase out the trolley system. The last trolley line in Salt Lake City ceased operation in 1946, marking the end of an era for the city's trolley system. The UTA eventually launched the Trax system back in 1999, which is the light rail that we've been using in this episode.
Checked out Trolley Square.
Trolley Square.
It was interesting, like a former trolley depot
Yeah.
that has been turned into kind of like an mostly indoor mall, some outdoor. Unfortunately, seemingly like every other mall, a little quiet.
A little
these
quiet,
days.
yeah. And it seems like sort of a gentrification project. Like it has a Whole Foods and a Pottery Barn and that sort of thing. But surprisingly quiet.
Yeah. Right now, though, we're walking to Lafayette Park.
No, we are walking to Liberty Park.
I just asked you the name of it, and
I don't think Lafayette came this way.
no, I don't think so either.
Tell us about the park.
There's an aviary.
Ooh. You can play, what is it, Wings with Friends?
Wingspan.
No, Wingspan. Wings.
This is Chris's friend Tyler, by the way.
with Friends.
Wait, do you know Wingspan? Oh my God, I love Wingspan. Holy shit. Okay.
Let's see what else. They do like music stuff in the summer, and the winter right now, I don't know if there's a ton happening.
According to Visit Salt Lake City, Liberty Park is a spacious city park with walking and running paths, a swimming pool, tennis courts, paddle boats, children's amusement park, a playground, picnic facilities, and plenty of room for recreation or relaxation.
So this park has an aviary, which is very fun. If you don't know what an aviary is, you need to step up your board game. The game Wingspan is all about that. But anyway, very fun to have a bird exhibit in the city park here.
From Liberty Park, not Lafayette Park, the plan was to head back downtown for lunch. Liberty Park is not serviced by Trax, so we took the opportunity to try out the buses in Salt Lake City. We walked a few minutes to catch the 200 bus route.
It's the 200. This is where we need to be. I think that's a bus coming, but I can't tell.
Oh, that might be the bus coming. We've been waiting for a little bit. It's a little confusing to tell on the app where the bus is, but we will see. This bus is supposed to come every 15 minutes. It's nice that it does say so on the sign as well. That might be it in the distance.
Hey, how's it going? Do we need to scan the... Oh, okay. So we didn't have to show, we didn't have to scan, just show. Interesting. So, easy enough.
And it was despite being confused at the last second there, it was actually on time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or close to on time. Close enough.
Close enough.
Bus on time.
Only if
This was Tyler's first time riding the bus in Salt Lake City. He does use the Trax system fairly often, but we were lucky enough to share some tips on using the bus along the way.
Oh,
that wasn't on the one down there.
The free
first
fare
one.
zone?
Yeah.
Let's
Where we
see.
picked up the bus was not
Right.
free fare.
So there's a portion of downtown that is a free fare zone on the buses, and I also think on the Trax trains. The bus was actually pretty pleasant. We didn't wait very long. It was clean, quick. Didn't have to show our fare, which was interesting, and we learned about this fare-free zone in part of downtown. We were just outside of it, but first bus, not so bad. We'll definitely be on at least one other one later, so we'll see how it is. But we made it back into downtown. We're gonna do some lunch downtown somewhere here shortly with Tyler and figure out where we're going next. We're gonna jump right back into everything in a second here, but if you have not liked this video, please consider doing so. If you haven't left a comment, please do so. It also helps us out in the algorithm, and we actually read them all. We wanna see your feedback. Do that. If you're not subscribed, consider doing that as well.
And the ratings are not just for YouTube. Make sure that you're going to your favorite podcast platform, giving us a good rating, giving us a comment, and don't forget to share this with all of your friends. First, I just want to say how proud I am of us for teaching somebody how to use the bus in a city that is not our city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, getting around Salt Lake was pretty easy using the app. They have the transit app there. We mentioned it in our first Salt Lake City video where we were going through how to download the Trax app and use it to get on the train. But for our entire day of exploring Salt Lake City, we used the transit app and we could use the bus and Trax and any other method of transit that there was, including scooters. It told you where scooters were.
Right. The Frontrunner was on there too.
Frontrunner was there. So like all of the transit options were available in the transit app, and that made the day so much easier.
Right. And if you don't know what the transit app is, it's basically an app that you can use it for transit agencies across most of the United States. Not all of them, though. It's integrated to be able to buy your tickets in it. Salt Lake City, instead of having their own kind of app to navigate buses and trains, just uses the transit app, which was the first time I've ever seen that. So anyone knows how to say that word?
Wichguoti.
Yes.
Wichguoti.
Just got some lunch, and we are headed to the living room trail, right?
Yeah, we're gonna hop the red line, which takes us out to the University of Utah. Yep. And then from there, we are going to do a nice little hike, get some views of the city.
Yeah, and that's also the same area where the Natural History Museum is. We're not going to check that out because we're not going to have time today, but it is feasible to get there.
Yeah. If we see the building, we'll show you the building.
Yeah, and we had a couple options to figure out how to get here. There were options with buses, trains and buses. We're going to try the Red Line Trax train out there. And then we will either catch a bus that would take us right to the trailhead, depending on the timing. And if we don't catch that bus, we might walk, but we'll see. Trying to figure out where to get off.
For text VTA
Probably helps if I
tip
put in the
to
thing again, the address.
274-637,
We're going to living
followed by
room.
your tip information.
Loving room.
I don't. That might be somewhere else.
Wait, just send me that address.
Yeah.
All right, living room trail. We're going now. We are on the train. Looks like we're going to get off at Fort Douglas.
Alrighty. Oof, that was sad to watch. We were approaching, and it had the right of way, and then the light changed, and now we wait. I got it in 4K.
Getting stuck at a red light on the tracks happened quite a bit, and I really couldn't stop noticing it happen. A really easy upgrade to the system would be signal prioritization for the tracks. Most of Salt Lake City streets were wide, and despite there being a lot of trains, I really don't think they would run into any traffic issues. Plus, you would likely see an uptick in ridership due to better on-time performance.
So it says the 223 is not going to be here until like for another 47 minutes or something.
47.
Yeah, so we shouldn't do that.
So it's 24 minutes to walk.
To the History Museum?
Yep.
Gotcha. So, just so to get folks up to speed, we got off the train, no problem, by the university. The bus to go to the hiking trail isn't coming for 45 minutes, so we're changing plans a little bit. And we might walk to the History Museum through campus, which would be a good alternative.
Yeah,
But
24 minutes seems to be the fastest, and that is walking.
yes, so we're gonna hoof it. Lovely bike lane here, going over the bridge, but you gotta huck it off the staircase at the end. We have stumbled across some scooters here, and we had a long walk / a long wait for a bus. So we're gonna give the spin scooters take them out for a spin.
For a spin.
Take them out for a spin.
It's a very cold ride to through the University of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
We had some trouble parking our scooters because they're very strict on scooter parking laws here, which I am for. I think it's great.
I think so too. So yeah, they have this little like nook here.
There's a box.
And on the map, in the app, it like shows you to go here. That's the Natural History Museum, which if we had more time, we would check out. But, and honestly, a little not ideal as far as getting here via public transportation, unless you're okay with using the scooter for the last mile.
The bus,
or waiting a long time for the bus.
The bus would have taken quite a while.
So we left the cafe at the Natural History Museum where we went to warm up for a little bit because the scooter over here was
so cold.
Cold,
but so cold.
Not warm. Yes, but fun. Yeah.
Also, your first time on a scooter?
Yes.
Yes.
It was. I'll do it again.
Maybe warmer weather next time. There are some awesome trails that kind of leave from this part of town.
Yeah.
We're on one of them right now, which we think is the Living Room Trail.
Pretty sure this is the Living Room Trail, which is about almost 2 miles long and about 1,300 feet of elevation gain. So we're not doing all of it today.
Yes. If we had more time, we would, and you could get here via transit. The bus is a little less frequent to get to this part of town, but if you did a little bit of pre-planning, you could definitely make it happen.
Yeah.
And the train is not too far either if you're okay with walking. So
walking or scooting.
Yeah.
Or
combination.
You know, last ditch effort, you can Uber from the train.
Or you can do what I've been telling you to do this entire time and buy an e-bike and get here that way as well. From here, you can actually see a pretty awesome view of the whole city, including the Utah State Capitol, which is where we are going to head to from here. Yeah. So we will continue onwards and hopefully have no slips on this snowy, icy trail down. So
no promises.
No promises. We'll keep you updated. This is why buses aren't sexy. Bus stop, no sidewalk, unplowed.
My feet are cold.
No sidewalk, standing. And this is kind of the closest stop to, right? This is the closest stop to the History Center.
Museum. Yeah.
Also to the hiking trails.
And the hiking trail, yeah.
Which, also, this is Tyler. We realized we did not introduce him. So Tyler lives here in Salt Lake City. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I've been here for about 4 years. It's been pretty great.
Where'd you move here from?
I moved here from Alabama.
We're both Alabama boys.
Alabama boys. What is an Alabama person? Alabamite or?
Alabamian.
Alabaman.
Alabaman.
Okay.
Alabamian?
Yeah.
Alabamian. It's
that
up for debate, apparently.
Neither of us probably had great access to public transit growing up.
No, not at all.
But now that you're in Utah, in Salt Lake, there seems to be options.
Yes, way more accessible. I've definitely taken the Trax way more than now that I live downtown. Definitely way more than I used to. Took the bus for the first time today, which was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So we're doing it again.
Nice. Did you have any expectation of what you thought the bus was going to be? Because I know for me taking the bus for the first time in Austin where we live, I was uncertain what it was going to be like. Did you have what you thought it was going to be?
Oh yeah, lots of anxiety because I was I don't know how to buy a ticket. I don't know the stops, where to go. I don't know what the environment's going to be on the bus. Is it going to be clean? Is it going to be sketchy, dangerous?
How do you make it stop?
Yeah, how do you make it stop? When do you make it stop? But no, it's super clean, super easy to buy a ticket. I don't know, it's gonna make it much more convenient to walk around and travel around.
Yeah, nice.
We waited at this less than ideal bus stop that had no sidewalk and required waiting in the snow or standing in the road. Fortunately, the bus pulled up right on time.
Yeah.
Ticket.
You can just show the pass.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Thanks.
Oh, it's nice and warm. Bye-bye, Bussy.
Bussy.
Oh my God.
This is a nice little neighborhood. So we're walking to the Capitol now.
Yes, we're walking through the avenues.
the
which
avenues.
seems to be a very nice neighborhood in this beautiful Hallmark movie park. And we're gonna go check out the Capitol, which you can see over the hill.
And we are running out of daylight, and temperatures are beginning to drop.
But we're gonna tough it out.
We're gonna tough it out. Tough it out. Transit tangent's tough. This is also the time of the day that Lewis is getting a little tired and a little weird. We're here at the Capitol. We made it. We took a fairly long bus ride, but it was pretty direct to get here.
That's not bad.
After the funny bus stop that was standing in the snow on the curb. We're gonna see if we can get inside of the Capitol. We walked through a nice little neighborhood to get here.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
There
Uphill,
was
all uphill.
Also a little staircase that cut off a good portion of the walk.
We support public staircases.
Yes, and there's a drone up above us. I can't see it anymore, Chris. You made me redo this, and
It's
now
still
I can't
there.
see the drone. There is a drone. You'll have to take our word for it. If you're listening, you're really gonna have to take our word for it. It's getting fairly dark.
Yeah.
Getting a little cold, but
This is the last stop on our tour of Salt Lake City using public transit, and after that we're gonna go grab some dinner, defrost, and pretty much call it a day.
yeah. Thanks for following us around, even though
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone watched. We'll see if you watched. If you watched, tell us what your favorite part of the day was.
So that is a very, very full day in Salt Lake City. I think we did a good job of really covering the central part of the city. Lewis, what about you? What were the highlights for you from that day?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, in editing that, reviewing the delirium that we were in at the end of the day was funny. There are a couple things that did not make the cut. That'll be like some behind the scenes.
That's for
someday.
Transit Tangents After Dark.
Yes, yeah. Sorry for leaving that out, but yeah, I mean, I was overall very impressed, especially like Salt Lake City is not a massive city or anything like that, and I mean, for a small city, it had a very robust transit network. I thought,
Yeah.
you know, the tracks, there were trains all over the place all day. We saw them quite a bit. We never waited for too long. I mean, there was waits for sure, but it was their frequencies were every 15 minutes. I think for me, the most my favorite part of it was probably I think the Frontrunner was my favorite part. That was a really nice train.
It's a great experience.
It was going so fast
Yeah.
too. I'm just, you know, you don't get that experience on the Commuter Rail where we live here in Austin. I just feel like it goes fairly slow.
Yeah,
You get that a little bit over in the Commuter Rail in Boston. That goes fairly quick, but still pretty slow. The Frontrunner was like, it felt new. It was fast. I enjoyed it. I think that was my favorite. What do you think for you? Top.
I think my favorite thing about the whole day was the hiking trail that we went to. It was beautiful. You're right on the edge of this valley. You can see kind of all the way to the lake. You can see the Capitol building and all of I almost said San Francisco. You can see all of
You said
Salt
St.
Lake
Louis
City.
in the episode at one point. So.
Still delirious. But you can see the entire city, and it's just beautiful. So like that was one of my favorite parts, and the fact that you can get to that hiking trail by transit is pretty amazing.
Right.
And then to echo what you said, I was really impressed with the frequency of tracks, and highly envious of Utahns' ability to get on the track system and get around.
Yeah. If you had to pick something that you think the city could work on, or like something that left a little bit more to be desired, do you have anything that comes out?
Streetscapes. There is so much opportunity to make the streets more appealing in downtown. It's just pavement everywhere, and the streets are so wide, and there's so much potential, so much improvement there. But that's the only thing. I thought the city was beautiful. They need less pavement.
No, I definitely agree with that. And maybe a month or two back, City Nerd, a great YouTube channel that I'm sure a lot of you watched, did an episode on like downtown areas with the most surface parking. And unsurprisingly, Salt Lake City was near the top of that list. I forget exactly which number in the top 10 list, but it was up there.
Yeah.
For me, the one thing that I couldn't, and I mentioned it at one point in the episode, the one thing I couldn't stop noticing was the lack of transit priority with the stoplights.
Yeah.
The tracks would just get stopped so often at stoplights for just a couple cars to go by in a lot of cases. transit priority would be such an easy upgrade to their system
Agreed.
that I would love to see in the future. A really cool thing though about Trax is like right now, I actually just saw this before we're filming this, a couple days before this came out. They're actually, have a survey out right now about an expansion plan that they have going on, adding a whole new line to the light rail system. So definitely a lot to look forward to if you're a Utahn. Saying that wrong for sure.
We'll get called out in the comments.
Yeah. Yes. If you live in Salt Lake City, definitely let us know what you thought of all this. Did we miss anything? Are there things that you think we're dead wrong on? Definitely leave them in the comments below. You can also reach out to us via email. Our links to all of that is on transittangents.com. And again, a big thank you to everyone who's been tuning in lately. Our last few episodes have done really well. We've gotten a bunch of new subscribers recently.
Big milestone. We had our first episode breach 1,000 views on YouTube. So
yeah, which
very,
is
very exciting.
And a goal that I'd set early on that I think I'd said to you at one point is like I really want to get past the 100 subscriber threshold.
Yeah.
And as of this afternoon, we're at like 122 or something like that.
So thank you to everyone who's listening, watching, subscribing, sharing.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of fun plans and conversations coming up. We're gonna have some folks running for local office who we'll be talking to on the podcast soon. We've got an interview with someone who's creating content on YouTube coming up. Some folks with a nonprofit organization. So
a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, totally. So we're both kind of looking forward to diving into all that. But
so a couple episodes later, maybe we'll get Pete Buttigieg. That's my goal. I'm just doing this to meet Pete Buttigieg. I don't know about you, but that's all I'm doing this for.
Well, we'll see if we can make that happen. Yeah. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your Transit Tangents Tuesday.
See you next time.
Yeah, I'm saving that dough. Public transit's where it's at. Watch me go.